What's up, everybody? It's your boy Jay McLovin here with Celeste Marie Wilson. By the way, just gonna get this out of the way. If you want to find all of Celeste Marie Wilson's music, you can find it at celestemariewilsonmusic.com. So just keep that in mind. You can also find her on Facebook at Celeste Marie Wilson. Nothing complicated about it. Pretty simple, straightforward. What a day, man. Celeste, it has been quite the weekend. I thought by the way, I don't have any cool graphics today because Logan had a meeting. He had 2 or 3 meetings, so I didn't get my graphics today. So it's just gonna be a cappella. Sometimes you gotta go a cappella.
Heck yeah.
You gotta strip it all down. You gotta strip it down.
Mm-hmm. We're tiny desking this show.
We are tiny freaking desking.
Tiny desk, the whiskey hour.
By the way, yes, ma'am. And by the way, congratulations. I did see where you did a submission for Tiny Desk with Willow.
I did.
That is awesome, and I know you're gonna get it because it's gonna be freaking amazing. And then you're gonna have to make sure that I get the link or whatever so I can watch this. Because me and Melanie, we're gonna be glued to it, and then I'm gonna save it in my archives. It's gonna be amazing. But yeah. So let me start this off. I know you need a laugh. I need a laugh, and I'm gonna tell you about something that happened during this freeze that we had over the weekend. By the way, it's not over with, Celeste, if you didn't know. I think there's another one coming up this weekend again, but I don't think we're not going to get the snow, but we're going to get that crazy cold weather.
We didn't get snow last time.
I know. We got a bunch of ice. That's what we got. We got a bunch of ice, Celeste.
What is whimsical about ice?
Nothing. But I'll tell you what ice is. Painful. Especially when you slip on it, Celeste. But that's the story for another day, and it involves a retaining wall and Jay McLovin falling 6 feet, rolling into the forest at about 9 o'clock at night. And I'll get to that story here in just a sec. I'll give you 2 stories just for the heck of it. I'm gonna give you 2 stories.
Okay, I need 2 stories.
All right. Now, the first one is, if people don't know, my wife she teaches advanced math and science, and then she does on-level math and science at Travis Intermediate, and so you got to drip your pipes, Celeste. And I'm not exactly a cheap person, okay? But I'm very conscientious about resources and what they can cost, okay? So I told Melanie, I said, damn, I know we got to drip these pipes, but I wonder how much it's going to cost me to drip these pipes by the hour. And by the way, if you don't know, you don't have to worry about that, folks. Apparently, they give you 3,000 gallons for $21.95. So you just let that thing drip away. You ain't got nothing to worry about. But I found that after the fact. So let's go back to where we were. So here I am, and Melanie had the bright idea because I have an outdoor kitchen faucet, and that's what I was worried about. I said, what do I do? So she puts a tea pitcher, a plastic tea pitcher underneath in the sink of the outdoor faucet, and then while it's dripping, right? And about an hour and a half, 2 hours goes by, she comes and says, Jay, look, you're getting about 1 gallon of water for every hour and a half it's going. So I'm thinking like, okay, and I carry the 4, whatever. It comes out to be like, I think like 8 gallons or something like that. It's like 8 or 9 gallons. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. That part of the story doesn't matter because Jay McLovin can't do math. That's why I chose a different career path. But stay in school. Stay in school and try to learn the math that I suck at. That's besides the point. So, Celeste, I'm thinking, okay, science experiment is over with. She proved a point. I feel better about it now. I'm thinking, okay, we're back to status quo. She put the tea pitcher in the dishwasher because nobody wants to drink after rainwater's been in or dripping water's been in there. So we put in the dishwasher. That's what I'm thinking, Celeste. In my mind, that's what I'm thinking she's doing. That's what common sense would dictate. By the way, public service announcement, if I can insert right here. Gentlemen, if you have a girlfriend, a fiance, or a wife, just know that the first thing that comes in your mind will either get you divorced or broken up. The second thing will get you on the couch. And the third thing will either A, continue the relationship or get married or continue your marriage. Just know that the third thing that's in your mind is always what should come out of your mouth to your significant other. For example, the first thing that came to my mind, Celeste, all right, we're back on track. The first thing that came to my mind, she left, Celeste, we get up in the morning, right? We get up in the morning and we and I always walk my wife to the car, I make her lunch, I make her drink, and then I walk her to the car, give her a little kiss, and off she goes. And then Jason has a happy day because he's got the whole house to himself. He wouldn't be happy. But that's besides the point. That's another day. By the way, that comment right there can also get you divorced. So don't ever say that to your significant other. but oh, you know, you're getting relationship advice on today's show. Calm down. So here's the thing. So Melanie looks out the door on our back patio. I guess she thought she had the tea pitcher in there. Well, she did, Celeste. She let the damn tea pitcher in there all night while the water's dripping. What happens when water freezes? It has a snow rainbow effect of ice all the way up to the faucet. Now, I'm going to tell you, it's a very marvelistic, magical thing to see something just like a cascade of volcano all the way up to the sink. And in which she said, and I quote, Jay, I fucked up. And I look outside and I come back and I say, now the first thing that comes to my mind is, yes, you did. How could you be so dumb? Now, that is the first thing that would get you divorced or in your relationship if it comes out of your mouth. The second thing was, damn. Could you have just taken the tea pitcher out? That will get you on the couch. The third thing, which is the one I went with, because the third thing is where you live happily ever after and or continue your relationship in a very happy way is, baby, it's okay. We all make mistakes. I love you. It's not a problem. I'll fix it. Go off to work. That's what I did. Now, there was a little bit of freaking out. Like internally, she's like, well, should I stay home? Should I stay home? Should I not go to work today? Because I don't know what's going to happen here at the house. And I'm like, and again, this will get you fired. I'm thinking, yes, you should absolutely stay home because you created this. That will get you fired or divorced or not having a relationship anymore. What I said was internally, yes, baby, you should go to work. Don't worry about it. I got this. And then after she leaves, and she's down the road, I call my father. And I'm like, Dad, Mel done fucked up. She left the tea pitcher out there. And now I don't know what the hell to do. What should I do? Because I'm scared I'm going to have an exploding pipe. He's like, Jay, just call a plumber. It's okay. Put a vacuum. So I wound up having a hairdryer. The long skinny, my dad walked me through it. I got through the whole process. I called the plumber, and today he came and fixed said issue. So that's just a little tidbit. If you're in a relationship, I gave you some really good examples of how to solve it and be happy. I hope everybody listened on that one. The second one that happened over this 4-day weekend or 3-day weekend that was not so funny, but actually it's funny if you're watching it. It wasn't funny for me because I felt it, but if you're watching it, I mean, this could have went viral on TikTok and I'd probably be a millionaire right now. That's how funny it was. So again, so my wife made me a cocktail and she made it a little stronger. So I drank it and I was like, damn, that was a good cocktail. It made Celeste. It was beautiful. So, Jay has a hard time saying no to things because I get, especially when I enjoy it. When I enjoy it, I want to just devour everything. So I had about maybe 2 or 3 more cocktails. That's the point. So I might have been a little liquored up is what I'm saying. Might have been a little liquored up. And it's probably like, I don't know, 11:30 at night. Melanie's done gone to bed. So I guess I got disoriented in my orientation, like north, south, east, west. So instead of going right, which would have left me to the front door, I went left. And the problem with going left is there's a retaining wall there. And I didn't know it. So I'm walking normally. And then all of a sudden, Celeste, there was no more ground to walk on. And Jay took a fall. Now, mind you, it's cold as hell outside. So I done got my jacket on with my hoodie, with my beanie cap. And then I got my robe, my plush robe over that. And I got the thing like this. And I got some nice thick socks. I mean, I'm warm, right? Smoking my little cigar, drinking my little cocktail. Life is great. I'm in love with it. I got my little music playing in the background. I think it was playing the Eagles. And I'm good. Yeah. But I'm telling you, Celeste, the minute that ground stopped and that retaining wall ended, yeah, Jay took a tumble. I landed on my back and I did it's like a stop, drop, and roll. And I rolled my ass right into the forest. And I sat there for a few minutes because I was thinking to myself, damn, how did I get here with trees? A minute ago, I was sitting on a patio swing. Now I'm in trees. What does Jay do now? Let me just sit here for a minute. Let me just think about this. So I sat there for about 30 minutes, basically, let's ask. And then I tried to get up several times. And on the 5th attempt of trying to get up, I was able to get up. And then I went back in the house and I told Melanie I took a tumble off the retaining wall. And she laughed at me. It's all good. Happens. I'll tell you one thing. I'm going to tell you right now, Celeste, if you want to sober up real quick and in a hurry, just walk off a 5-foot retaining wall. You are going to sober up quick, especially when it's like 21 degrees outside. So now I'm cold,
gosh.
I'm wet, and
You've been laughed at. Your dignity's gone.
And listen, my dignity, well, first of all, the dignity went a long time ago because shit. I mean, you can make a whole Jackass movie based on my life alone. And maybe I will. It could be my financial way to freedom. I don't know. Anyway, I hope you got a laugh out of that. That was my weekend in a nutshell. And I learned a lot of lessons over that. I really did. I learned a lot of
like it.
Now, I just want to know real quick, your dog has COVID. I did not know that was a thing. So
COVID it's like COVID, canine COVID.
And how did you know? Like, what was he doing that led you to think this?
Coughing, and he goes on the road with me when I'm performing because you know I love my dog and he's well behaved. So he goes on the road with me
Dipper.
When I'm performing.
I like Dipper. He has those different colored eyes, doesn't he? I think
he's got like really, really blue eyes. It just
really, really blue.
I know soul eyes. Yeah. And so he comes and he loves people. He loves being pet. You have a great time adventuring out. But I'm driving home from North Texas, and he's never been sick before. Rides in the car like a champ. He just sleeps back there. Nice. And he was sleeping, and then I kind of heard like a little cough. And I thought, oh, maybe he's thirsty. So it's like I have a little. Usually, what I do is I go to Starbucks and I get a cup of water with no ice. And then just whenever he's thirsty, I take the lid off and let him drink out of it, and then put the lid back on and put it in the thing. So no spills.
Did you give him a pup cup? Did you at least give him a pup cup?
Of course, I got him a pup cup.
Everybody gets a pup cup. Okay.
And then he's like coughing a little, and I'm like, huh. And then like an hour goes by, and he gets into like a coughing fit. I pull over, I check on him, and I'm like, oh. He didn't have anything stuck in his throat. I was like, I guess he's coming down with a cold or something. So I called the vet because, that's what you do. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. And they're like, well, come see us tomorrow. So I take him in. Dipper has coughed all night. I did not sleep for like a week, which ended up making me not feel good. Not because I felt like somehow I was getting what he had, but I couldn't. It was just, I literally didn't sleep because it was every 30 minutes he was having a coughing fit for just days. But anyway, I went to see the vet. And went in and got all these tests. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, I don't know what he got. Did he get like sometimes we go on doggy play dates, did he get something did he get like kennel cough or something? I don't know.
Right.
Like all these kind of thoughts were going through my head. I'm nervous. And then they call me and they're like, he has doggy COVID. And I'm like,
wow.
I don't even know where he got it. I don't know. Like, it was crazy. And there's not really anything they can do. So I got some electrolyte water for him. And then he would, the other thing I did is I put him in the shower with me so the steam would help his throat and stuff.
Yeah, because all you can do for that is like human beings, when we get COVID, you just got to ride it out.
Yeah.
Until like, it's like a 2-week period, I think. And then you should be back to normal.
I just felt
I'm
so
glad
bad
Dipper.
because
I'm glad that's all he had.
Dogs don't know what's going on, so it's like they just feel bad and they don't know why, and that makes me feel terrible.
But you know what makes you feel good, and what makes Dipper feel good is that you took him to the vet, and you found out, and now Dipper's okay. So look, there's a lot of times I don't even know what's going on, but when we have good owners, or in our cases as humans, we have good support systems, which you're his support system. It makes him okay. And look, I ain't worried about old Dipper. He got the best owners I ever seen around outside of myself and Blue.
He sleeps on a silk pillow. Yeah. Dipper sleeps on my silk pillow. I got a silk pillow for me. And Dipper went, my hair. And now every night he sleeps tucked under the bed, head on the silk pillow. I'm like, why don't you get the fancy one?
Nice. Well, hey, it's that's what we do as dog owners, man. We take care of our pets because they are family. They may be a 4-legged family, but they're family.
He takes up 3/4 of my bed.
Man, Blue takes up half my bed. You seen how big Blue is? Well, you'll see when you come over Saturday. Blue's a big boy. He's about 128 pounds. But Blue's on a diet right now. Right now, Blue's on a diet. So
Dipper was not on a diet. I felt bad, so I was giving him second dinner every night.
Yeah. All right. let's get into this. So today, we're doing a music or movie review, a movie that has something to do with music. And so I got Taylor Swift, End of an Era docu-series. I believe it was on Netflix is where I saw it.
I think it was on Disney Plus.
It might be Disney Plus. If you just go to your browser, and what I did was I just went to my browser and I typed in Taylor Swift, End of an Era, and then it brought it up and I just watched it. And then once it's in your queue, it's in your queue. But yeah, look on Disney Plus, look on Netflix. Trust me, you will find it in your smart TV like we all have. So I had End of an Era docu-series. It was a six episode series. And then I gave A Star Is Born to Celeste. And so we're going to talk about those two movies and what we liked about them and maybe what we took away from it. Is it okay if I go first?
Yeah, I'll let you go first.
I just want to go first because, again, I told Celeste I have a surprise for her. And I'm just, I'm like a kid at the candy store. It's hard to contain a secret once you know about it.
But don't you want to keep it to the end?
Okay, you know what? You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Now I'm hearing
ladies first.
Okay.
Ladies first.
I am sorry. I apologize. You're right. Ladies first. A Star Is Born. Now, what did you take away from that?
I took away never date a musician. I took away never date another songwriter. I was watching it, so I go into this.
Yes.
I have no idea what it's about. Like, I've never seen it, didn't know anything about it, didn't want to look anything up to spoil it. All I knew was Lady Gaga was in it, because that's what Jay said. The one with Lady Gaga. So I got the one with Lady Gaga, and I started it. And I was like, I was taken for a journey. There was a lot that I liked about it. But then I was kind of like hand on my hip, because I was like, I watched it with my mom. And my mom and I do talk while things are going on. And I was sitting there like, we were not that far in. I was like, she should dump him. I'm pretty sure she's going to dump him. And the entire movie, I was sitting there, I was like, she should dump him. Now would be a good time. Now would be a good But no, she didn't. And I was like, okay, well, now's going to be a good time. Yeah. I was like, look, if some man just disappeared on me and I hadn't been dating him that long and I can get a hold of him, I don't think I'll go find them. I'd be, and it's not that you don't care about them. It's just, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like that man was a total wreck. And I do believe people can be rehabilitated, but I mean, it became a quality of life problem for her at the end.
Yeah, I did.
And I was like, can you imagine doing all that, knowing how much work it takes to put an album together and music videos and performances, all of that, to have it wrecked by someone, choose to stay with them and rehabilitate them, risking your entire career and then losing them? And then being expected to get up and perform again things y'all had written together?
Yeah.
I mean, oh my gosh, that's impossible. It's like, especially coming from kind of the female perspective, it's a give and take, because if she hadn't met him, would she have found the confidence to do what she needed to do? Not that the confidence came from him, but just being in that very specific situation where she could go on stage and have people there, I think helped build her confidence. It was her singing that built the confidence, but would she have had the opportunity to do that if she had not met somebody? And that's kind of kismet. But then there was so much after where it's like it almost felt like that her self-worth and his self-worth became intertwined in a toxic way.
Yeah, very toxic.
Very, very toxic. And I was like, oh my God, like, I was like giving me, oh no. And then the whole, like, is this even you thing where they had their big fight and she's in the bathtub. I was like, mm-mm. Mm-mm. And I get that both of them were being ugly, but I was like, the is it even you? I think coming from someone who knows how it kind of works behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You are you on stage, but you have to choose one facet of yourself. at a
Yeah.
time. You can't give everybody everything at once, or they don't understand. It's like
Yeah.
I can't sing a song that encapsulates my whole life at
Yeah.
once. I need to sing
Yeah.
one song and tell one story at a time and build up a brand where we can explore more, like more of somebody.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was like it was just like such a toxic relationship to watch. I was like, and I could see how, like, if you were dating another musician, have that professional jealousy, and that like frustration, since who you are and your art is so close together. If you know someone deeply, like very close, sometimes it's hard to be like, that stage them and this is them. And it's actually good that they're a little separate, because it adds a, a wall of protection.
Yes. Very much so. Very much.
And I was like, yeah, it was a journey. I was feeling all the emotions, but mainly I was like, leave him. I was like, he, and it's like, I think part
Yeah.
of it is sometimes to get better, you have to lose what you want to know
Yeah.
that you have to change to want it. And it's like
Yeah.
I felt like while I was watching it, that if she had actually, because I was like for certain she was gonna leave him after the Grammy thing. For
Yeah.
certain.
Oh yeah. Me too. Me
I
too.
was like,
Honestly.
she's gonna leave him.
Right.
Because I mean, it wasn't just that he was drunk. It was like, because people are drunk at award shows. That's honestly, like, just people are. It
Yeah.
wasn't that he was drunk, it's that he was drunk and mad. And he had
Yeah.
reasons to be mad. I'm not saying he did, but it was the drunk and mad. And then, because even when you're drunk, because I've been drunk, you've been drunk,
Oh yeah.
we're adults. Even when I'm drunk, I wouldn't act like that. And it's different because I'm not an alcoholic. But it's like, because being drunk, even though it makes your how how you think a little fuzzy, like,
Right.
it doesn't make you think different.
Yeah. No, it
It's
doesn't. You still have it.
it just
Yeah.
kind of takes the walls of things down. And so it's like that stuff to me, like, I don't know, of course, I'm not I've never dated someone like that. But if I were her, I would have felt like, oh my God, a part of him really feels this way. Like, a part of
Yeah.
him really does feel that way.
Yeah.
Because you can't say something like that unless a part of you, like, kind of feels that way for whatever reason, whether it's jealousy or something else. Like, that would be, it's like when he called her ugly, the way I took it was not that he was calling her ugly, like how she looked, but it felt like he was calling, like, her person ugly.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
And it's like, to me, that I would be like, a part of you has to feel that way to be saying that.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. You know, everything you said, I that's a lot of that is what I felt in it. And one of the things I took away from that movie was they had by the way, if you're not, for those who just came in, we're talking about the movie A Star Is Born and how it relates to music. And then we're going to be talking about End of an Era by Taylor Swift, how that relates to music. And then there's going to be a surprise at the end. So don't go nowhere. You got a lot of stuff to talk about. But no, so what I took away from it was Bradley Cooper. By the way, Bradley Cooper, I thought, played a hell of a good role in this. I mean, he was damn convincible. I mean, and of course, you know how it ends at the end of it all. You know, he winds up going into the garage and taking his life, you know, which is, again, and then of course that just adds a whole nother layer to the part that Lady Gaga played in it. And I thought Lady Gaga was phenomenal in the way she played the role. I mean, I think that's what made it so convincing and so powerful. One of the things I took away was, you know, so he found her, you know, and he, you know, of course, you know, then he brings her on stage for the first time. Then she kind of gets a taste of it. And then, so he's kind of thinking like, okay, I'm building her up. And by, you know, and who knows, maybe she wouldn't have never gotten noticed had it not been for him. And sometimes you can have the good and then you have the bad, and then you're like, okay, how do I navigate this? What do I do? Do I stay in it because, hey, I'm loyal to him because he's the one that got me where I am now? Even not that she didn't have talent, but he helped get her noticed, and I don't know if she would have had that same trajectory. Maybe she would have. Maybe she would. I mean, who knows? But it was interesting to me because he was going through a time period where he was also losing his hearing. And I think that really messed him up. Like, he was already an alcoholic. I think he was an alcoholic even before then. But I think the fact that he wasn't able to perform the way he wanted, or at least he thought the way he needed to perform, and the fact that his career was kind of taking the downward turn and her career was upticking. And I think he didn't like the fact that she brought in dancers and made it more commercialized. I think he wanted more of a pure sound for her, and he wanted her, I think, more in the country, southern rock kind of. I think she just kind of went in a direction that he felt like she sold out her career for. And I think that along with, his career also going into the toilet, it's like those two things were going like this, and he couldn't do nothing to stop it. And I think that along with this also the things that he was battling within himself and the depression that he was in and things like that, which he tried to medicate himself with the alcohol and things like that. It just went really, really wrong. And he never could really right the ship. And so when she's in the bathtub and they had the conversation where he's telling like he doesn't like the way her career's going, and she's telling him tough titty, it's going to happen regardless, and he's like, well, I don't like this. And this is, I think that's when he called her ugly and things like that. And that's when that's when you start trying to hurt people. When you try to hurt people, that's when ugly things come out of your mouth. And I think at that point, he was just trying to hurt her because he knew that he couldn't do nothing for his career. And he didn't like what she was doing. He didn't like the fact that she was getting the limelight and he was getting the low light. And I think he just couldn't deal with that. So when they got to the Grammys and he was already drunk and he goes up on stage, first of all, the guy couldn't even climb the steps. Somebody should have got his butt before he even, like, a bouncer, an usher, whatever, should have grabbed him, but they didn't. So he goes up on stage, and of course, then he obviously pees on himself. And then she's in a position like, oh my God, this is my moment. I've been doing so hard to get here, and then you ruined my moment. Like, you were ruining everything else at the bathtub. It was like the bathtub 2.0 in real life in front of everybody. And everybody got to witness what she was witnessing at that bathtub. And she was obviously embarrassed. She tried to cover it up, tried to get him out there. But at the end of the day, I agree with you. There was a lot of times in that movie, I felt like she should have kicked him to the curb and started over. She didn't. I think she should have got him help or try to get him into rehab or something like that to fix things. But at the end of the day, and you can do that from a distance. You don't always have to be there. An intervention, whatever you want to do. You don't have to stay with the person, but obviously you have a love and an affection for that person. Maybe you need to get them help, and then you leave the situation after they're in rehab and doing all that. I don't know the proper way, but that would be one of the things I'm guess that's going through my mind. But it was extremely powerful. That whole movie was extremely powerful, and that's why and I think that's the ugly side of the business, right? When you're fading down and when you're skyrocketing and all the in betweens,
Right.
that's crazy to me. But
Well, and I think
again,
it's also like, it's like when you get off stage, it's like you're riled up and it's hard to go to sleep.
right,
And it's like, I know it's hard for me to go to sleep. I just do things until I'm tired. Like,
right,
if I've got a gig at a bar and it's a couple hours long and people are rowdy and excited, it's like, that many people looking at you and cheering
yeah,
at you. That's like just a lot of adrenaline. And so it takes a while
yeah,
for that
it
adrenaline
is.
to wear off. And
Yeah,
so it's like I'll sit there and I'll write songs, I'll sit there, I'll talk to my mom. If we're in a hotel, we'll watch Golden Girls, like whatever. Just until you're not riled up anymore. But there are a lot of people in the music industry that, they get off stage and they want to go to bed because you can feel that you're tired, but you don't feel
right,
tired. And then that's when they kind of like, get into the stuff that's like alcohol or drugs. And it's
right,
not necessarily that they start as broken people, but it's because just the way your job is,
right.
they end up trying to find a way so they can go to sleep because you can't really wake up late in the music industry.
Yeah,
It's like there was a while where I was like going to bed at 2 a.m. and I was
right.
waking up at 5 a.m. And I didn't want to sleep for like 3 hours every night. I wanted to sleep more than that. But it just is, it's like, if that's when
Yeah.
you fall asleep, that you're tired, take a nap. Just take a
Yeah.
nap.
You know,
I like
one
it
of the
sucks, but
hey, listen, you ain't telling me. I've lived that lifestyle where I only had 3 to 4 hours of sleep at night, and I like to sleep in, Celeste. I love to sleep in, but my job wouldn't let me sleep in, and I wanted it so bad. It was so hard. Some days were just so hard, but you got to do it. You still got to get up. You got a job to do, whether it's in the career as a singer or whatever your career is. You know, athlete or lawyer, whatever it is you do. Right? I mean, you have to get up. What did you think? You know, I got one of the things I liked about the movie was, or but I thought was beautiful in the movie was even after he had taken his life and left her holding the bag. You know, I like how she, you know, went up on stage and wrote the song "Shallow" and then performed it and dedicated it to him. And she had the bravery to go out there and do it. And the way in which she did it was just so elegant and so beautiful. It was a beautiful tribute to him. And that's one of the things I took away from. Even though it was ugly the way he left, she made it still beautiful. For, like even though he's gone and he hurt her because he took his life, and now he left her with all the pain. She took that pain. She could have went a lot of different ways with it, but she still showed grace and mercy and class and honored him in a beautiful way at the end. And that song "Shallow," even now when I hear "Shallow," I mean, it really touches me because it's such a beautiful song.
it is. And I think it's what I kind of took away from it is, I mean, it's kind of like when something bad happens to you,
Yeah.
you have a couple choices. You can let it totally consume you, or you can use it to create something. Whatever it is. It doesn't have to be artistic. It can be like, just creating, a desire to like do more math or do this or do that. But, if energy can't be created and it can't be destroyed, it has to go somewhere. And
Right.
I think sometimes when something bad happens to us, we let that negative energy get caught up. Kind of what we saw happen with the guy in the
Yeah.
movie, where the negative, that those feelings, they didn't actually go anywhere. Because even though he said to to Lady Gaga that she was not being herself on stage, who was the one who wasn't talking about his past or his feelings at all? It was
Right.
him.
Right.
It was like this reflection of himself that he was putting on her that wasn't true
Right.
necessarily. But then on the other side, we see her, and even though this terrible thing happened, she is choosing to openly and publicly talk about it and sing about it and write about it.
Amen.
And
Amen.
and
Yeah.
that is moving the energy from something that was very negative, very hurtful into something positive. It's
Absolutely.
like how we saw her like embrace how she looks and lean into it. It was something that had been negative towards her, but she went,
Right.
whatever, this is how I look, this is how I am, and I'm going to dress this way, and I'm going to and lean into these things that otherwise people would think like isn't cool, kind of thing. And so it's like just I think it's kind of like two sides of the same coin is
Oh,
what the movie
absolutely.
was giving to me. It was just how you choose to deal with it, because I mean we saw her and she was like at a low point
Oh
after
yeah.
all
Oh no,
that.
she
I
was
mean,
definitely
who
at a
would
low
it
point.
be?
Well, she was.
Definitely.
There were several low points. The one was the tub. The other one was when he was on stage and she was getting the award. And then the other one was when I believe it was after he took his life. I'm going back in the movie, and she goes down the hallway and she just starts smashing all the album covers and stuff on the floor. Remember where
Yeah.
she did that? I mean, there was like those were the three biggest low points I saw in her.
But I think at the end of the day, it comes down to the way we act and the choices we make for ourselves
Yeah.
affect other people, and you have to choose whether you want to be the reason someone gets up or the reason someone lays down.
Amen. I like that.
And
I like that. I like that. That's good. That's really good. I like that.
And you could see when he met her, she became the reason he got up. But as the relationship went on, he became the reason why it was hard for her to get up.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be that to someone. Nobody does.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. 100%. And you got to, sometimes though, you have to be careful how much, I feel like you got to be careful how much you become that person to them. Because when somebody gets so codependent on you like that, if that person leaves, whether it's through death or whether it be through a breakup or divorce or whatever, if you're so, and I know that because I've seen my grandmother and on both sides of the family be so codependent when their husbands left, they just kind of became less, and you could just see them becoming less, and that's a really hard thing to watch. So it's not that you don't love them with your whole heart, but you have to have some level of independence from them. Like if you get too codependent, that could put you in a bad spot, when they're not with you anymore. Whether, like I said, whatever way that comes. So we have to be careful about that. But I like the way you interpreted that. That was really deep, Celeste. I appreciate that. No, that's really deep. Okay, so for time purposes, we're gonna shift now over to Taylor Swift, End of an Era docu-series. Again, it's a 6-part docu-series, and I'll be honest with you, you did not let me down with this. God, I was like, I don't know, man. I mean, I dig the tiny desk that is her and it's acapella. I'm all into it. I like the strip down. How am I really gonna like the not overproduced, but the heavily produced,
right?
More, you know what I'm saying? More glamified version of it. Am I gonna like it? Not like it? But when you watch it and you see how it all comes together, you cannot help but like it. It literally when it came to an end, I was like, damn, I want more. And then I realized,
shoot. And then you were on Disney Plus watching the Eras tour.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn. And I looked at Melanie. I said, I swear that girl just maybe a damn Swiftie. Now I'm a freaking Swiftie. And you know what? I'm not afraid to admit it. I'm a Swiftie, and
I'm a Swiftie, and I like it.
And I like it. I kissed a girl. No, I'm sorry. But yeah. So a couple of things. One of the things that I really admired about her, and I'm all over the place, so I'm going to kind of go to the end of the movie and talk about one of the things, because one of the things I just gravitate about her is the way in which it goes back to what you were saying, how you treat people. She treats her dancers, producers, on-set people, off-set, anybody who had anything to do with that tour, she treated them amazing. I mean, amazingly. And the way she treated her fans was amazing. I mean, I can tell you right now, Scott Weiland from Stone Temple Pilots, that's one of my favorite bands. But I do know that this version of Scott Weiland that I've seen personally, when he's on drugs and things like that, he's very asshole-ish. There's no other word I can say. He's just an asshole to his fans at times. And it's not because it's him. It's just what the intoxicants have made him. And so I know what it looks like. And you can look at a guy like Kanye West. You know he doesn't treat his people like that. He's got a very arrogant kind of attitude about himself. But Taylor Swift doesn't. She's very, very humble. She's rich as hell. She's already made the highest mountaintop that a person can get to. She really, honestly, at this point, Taylor Swift has nothing really else to achieve, because she's achieved everything. There's nothing she has to achieve at this point. But she loves what she does so much that it doesn't matter. And she loves her fans. But what I liked about it was she gave away $197 million to everybody that had anything to do with that tour. Think about that. That is life-changing money for a lot of them, especially the dancers that didn't have, maybe that was their first shot at stardom, right? Like Kevin, hold on. I got it.
Yes, Kevin. Oh my gosh, I loved his story.
Kevin Martin. I think it was just like no, that's not it. I know I wrote it down. It's just like Cam. That's his name. Cam.
Cam. Yes, Cam.
But anyway, so
yeah,
Cam.
I'm like the ad-libs in the show.
Man, well, it was a lot. But his brother. Just that story alone, his brother was a famous football player with the Kansas City Chiefs, which I thought was kind of cool how it tied into Travis Kelce and the Kansas City Chiefs, right? But his mom was so enthusiastic, not only about him, but about his brother as well. And let me tell you something: if you don't know that, it's very hard for athletes and I'm not, and he's not gay or anything like that, but I'm saying the way pro athletes look at the homosexual community is not exactly always favorable. It can be downright mean and cruel in some ways. It really can be. But I like the way she was able to support him and then also support Cam, who is LGBTQ, but she supported him with love. She was there every step of the way. She was all at his football games, but she was also at all of his performances. And there's a couple of times in there where you see the camera pan over to his mom. And I thought it was cool how they actually show two moms, Taylor Swift's mom and then his mom. I just thought it was cool how they incorporated all of that. And when you see the backstory and you see the love and you see the support and you see this athlete who's in a community of people that doesn't always support the LGBT community, but he supports and loves his brother, and all of that comes together. It's just a very beautiful, beautiful thing. And then he also has kind of in that industry, he's obviously a very large man. And so I know in that he talked about it that a lot of times they wouldn't give him a shot because all they saw was the cover of the book. They didn't open up and see the preface or the forward or the index. All they saw was the cover and they judged it on that. So what I like about Taylor Swift is she's like, he came in for an audition. He saw an ad for a non-traditional dance performance. He goes there, he performs, he gets the job. And then Taylor takes such good care of him. Like they're having, and he really is a life of that movement. As much as Taylor is, Cam was just as much a part of it. Matter of fact, so much so that she actually gave him the only speaking part by a dancer when he said never. Remember that? He said never. And of course, his mom is like, my son just said never, and nobody else is doing that for Taylor. And what? I mean, that's a proud, proud moment for a parent. And all of that hard work he did. You know what I'm saying? That was one of the biggest things. The other big dancer that I took away from was Kylie Yokamura. There you go. Kylie Yokamura. Hopefully I got his name right. I am terrible with names. Yokamura. Kylie was, if you know him, he was very graceful. The way he danced, the way he did everything to his technique. And I think even he had a hard time getting parts in other places. But when Taylor brought him in, and he just lit up the room. And when you hear him talk, he lights up the room. And when you see him dance, it's so beautiful. The way he dances is so beautiful. And all of it is just more and more ways of the way Taylor Swift doesn't go with the normal thing that everybody says she should do. She does her own damn thing the way she wants to do it. And it turned out beautifully. That's what I like about Taylor Swift. And I think that's one of the things that made me a Swiftie is the way that she can elevate and incorporate and give shots to people that normally may or may not get that shot.
Right. You know? I love that. I love the way she treats her team. That made me like super just, it was like, I like that she stayed with a lot of the same band people that she's had since she started.
Oh, yeah.
You just don't hear that very often from anyone to have the same guitarist. That's crazy.
That is absolutely
to be able to have
crazy.
Such a good working relationship with someone that they want to be the same guitarist you've had your whole career.
Absolutely.
That's insane through the ups and downs and her whole. I mean, because her career's been wild, and then the getting to see how she there's this moment where she's talking about her grandmother.
Yeah.
And how her grandmother was an opera singer and all this other stuff. And to see that bit of her and to get to hear, because so many of the songs on the Eras tour, she's got breakup songs, and those are some of her most popular, but she's got songs about, her grandmother and the struggles that she's had being a woman in the music industry and all these. I mean, there's it's just like a human array of emotions. It's not just one thing. And we never hear about it because if you're not a Swiftie, you obviously are not listening to her whole catalog. But then once it becomes like oh my gosh, this is this person's passion. And when it's your passion, when it's something you love that much, of course you're gonna
Oh yeah.
And it's not only that it's her passion, it's that she can see when someone else in the room is passionate about something that maybe she's not.
Right.
But she knows would make she's like a team player.
Oh, to the max. I mean, to the max.
To the max, a team player. And her mother and her family are so supportive and behind her. And the fact that she doesn't take that for granted,
Yeah.
I'm
I
like,
mean, look,
I
the
just
fact that
love that.
she gave $200 million to the crew, 200 million. If that's not a team player, I don't know what the hell is. Because
I know.
that's of a team player. But here's the thing. And I want to correct myself. Cam Saunders. I want to make sure I got his name right because that's important to me. Cam Saunders and Wiley Yakamoto. God, I told you I was going to mess it up. Yakamura. I'm terrible with names. I swear I'm terrible. One thing I liked about that was, and this is why I know she's a team player. This is the ultimate team player to me. She could have did that entire docuseries on just her and Travis and her mom and Marjorie and everybody else, right? But she actually donated 2 of the episodes to those dancers. Wiley got an episode, and Cam got an episode. I mean, it was just about them. It wasn't about Taylor. It was about them individuals and how they came up and what they did, both of them individually. And if that's not being a team player and sharing your spotlight with other people so that they can show their spotlight, so that might open up other career opportunities outside of Taylor Swift. If that's not a team player, I don't know what is. And that's not just being a team player. That's being a leader of the team player. Because that's what a leader does. What Taylor does and what she did on this tour, that's absolutely a leader. And that's epitome of a leader, is leading from the front and leading by example. Yeah, and if you notice, it infected everybody. Everybody loves Taylor. Everybody loves Taylor because she is a great leader. She's humble and she listens to people and incorporates their ideas if they make sense. And that's what a leader does.
It absolutely is. And the other thing I love is she's got these, huge production things, but then she has her acoustic section. And it's very tiny desk where it's just her and the guitar and just her and the piano. And it is so cool that she is able to take from her back catalog, combine songs together, have 30 minutes in a dressing room, and they come out and perform them live for tens of thousands, like 100,000 people.
Oh, yeah. Easily.
I mean, that is absolutely
10 million.
Amazing.
10 million people saw that tour. 10 million people. It was like a little over 260 something concerts, and 10 million people, I think, either saw it or were there for that. So one of the other things that really resonated with me about Taylor Swift is I love artists that truly care for their fans. I mean, really, really, really care for their fans, and not just there to make money and give them a few songs and then walk off stage and go about their life. That's not what, I mean, she really does it. And one of the things that she does throughout that tour is she gets friendship bracelets.
She does.
She gets friendship bracelets. So I got friendship bracelets. I got lots of friendship bracelets, and I got one for everybody in your family.
Oh my gosh.
But I'm going to let them pick it. They're going to get to pick all of them except for 2. And there's 2 of them that I'm going to assign for very specific reasons. I'm going to start off because I'm going to say the best for last, right? Which is you, because let's be honest, in a relationship, the women is always the best. The men, we're just lucky to be there. And because we're lucky to have great women in our lives, like I am so lucky. I am the luckiest person in the world to have Melanie. My wife is the best human that I have ever met in my life, and I will never be as good as her. I won't. I just never will. That's why I love her. And she takes really good care of me. But for your boyfriend Josh, I got him a one that says Lucky. I don't know if you can see this, but it says Lucky on it.
Oh, that's so cute.
It says no, yeah, it does. It says, there's a watch. So it says this one is green, so you can wear, it's a manly type color. You can wear for, whatever occasion. But it says Lucky on it because that man is lucky as hell to have you for a girlfriend. So, and I want him to put this bracelet on his wrist, so that way whenever he forgets about it, he will be reminded. He'll be reminded how lucky he is. So this one is for Josh. That's why I asked him if he was going to be there. The one I got for you was, and it was hard to pick because there was 2 that I thought were really good. and I'm not gonna hold it up to the camera because I don't. This is too long. But one says brave, and I like that one because you are fearless. I really hope that. I wish I would have put fearless on there because, girl, like I said, you are freaking fearless. But they didn't have fearless, so I said it's brave, and I was like, nah, she knows she's brave. She's already proven that. She don't need to be reminded of how brave she is. So the one I got for you is, I think it's this one here, and it says dream on it, right? Because I don't ever want you to forget to stop dreaming about how far you can go in the music industry. You can go as far as you dream. So if you dream that you want to be a CEO of a music corporation or whatever it is, don't think that you can't do it. So, and I don't ever want you to forget that the power of dreaming and what you do, and you do so well, don't ever stop doing that. Don't ever stop pushing your limits and getting higher up the ladder rung. Deal? All right. Now the rest of them, they're going to have to wait, and I will let them pick. So we won't say nothing. The one thing that really stuck out at me about Taylor as a human being was, and this is only gonna be a small portion of this, but because it is sad, but it was when they did the terrorist plot, right? And then she was scared to death, not to death, but she was obviously very nervous or very apprehensive. Maybe apprehensive is the word I'm looking for, to go back on stage, because I don't think she knew what was going to happen after that plot. Now, thankfully, they were able to scuttle it, and it, nothing came out of it other than the guy getting arrested. But you can't tell me that doesn't have lingering effects. And one of the things I liked was Ed Sheeran came to London because she had to cancel all 3 shows in Vienna. So Ed Sheeran comes to London and does a duet with her. And I can't remember the name of the song right offhand. I don't know if you remember it right off. I
think is it Everything Has Changed, or is it?
Yes, thank you. Everything has changed. I appreciate that. And and how appropriate it is, because once that terrorist plot happened, and then also right after that, they had the attack on the Taylor Swift children's themed dance class. And unfortunately, 3 children, I believe, passed away in that. But what I liked about Taylor was she brought those families in, because it affected her deeply. I mean, she was crying. But she brought them into a room that had no cameras. It was just her and the families. And she was able to grieve with them, mourn with them, share thoughts with them, give words of encouragement with them. And that's beautiful. I mean, it wasn't just the 3 children's parents and family that passed away that she invited. She invited all of the victims to come in and share that moment with her. And that's beautiful, because I don't know how many musicians would have done that. But it's like that's like beautiful.
It's hard. I mean, not only is it like finding the time to do that, because she's got to be busy doing all this stuff, but finding the time to do that, and then finding the emotional strength to do it, because it's like being strong enough as a person to be able to do that.
Oh, absolutely, because you have to have strength, and then to go out and perform right after that,
right?
That was incredible. I'm going to turn real quick to Marjorie, because you had brought her up. I thought, there were several times in all 6 of these docuseries that I watched. Me and Mel watched them together, all of them. And we binge watched a good portion of it. I think we watched 4 in a row. And then the next day we watched the other 2. But I looked at Mel and I said, who does that remind you of? It reminds me of somebody very specific. I didn't want to tell her that name because I wanted to see what she would say. And she's like, Celeste. And I'm like, yeah. And there's a lot of reasons why. And I'm not trying to kiss up to nobody. There are very specific reasons, because when you look at it, when she's with the grandmother has a musical background. She teaches Taylor how to play the piano. Matter of fact, when she was a little baby and she was banging on the piano, and she looks over at her mom and says, you know what that means, right? And she's like, yeah, I gotta get her piano. Yeah. And then, but then she taught her how to sing. I mean, she did a lot of things musically to help her. And her mother wasn't really all that musical. She's more of a businesswoman, which is why she's really, really good at what she did for Taylor on the business end of it. But I was like, but how close she was with her family. And I see how close you are with your mother and how your mother helps manage you and helps guide you. That was one of the first things that I said, okay, I see the correlation between that. And then when I see how humble she is, but how infectious she can be, that was another thing that reminded me, obviously, of yourself. And I've told you many times I thought you were infectious. I told your mom, I said your daughter's like a damn disease, but in a good kind of way. But in a good way, not in a bad way, in a good way. But yeah, and I just, the way she, the way she started out small, playing small venues. I mean, she didn't just become Taylor Swift.
No,
it was a journey that she went on to eventually become. And I feel like you're in that same category where you're playing small venues all along the way, getting some awards all along the way, and then your trajectory is going to hit at some point. When you release your album, that's probably going to be the first step in that. I know you're working on that, but anyway, I said, Mel, I feel like this is like Taylor. It's like watching Celeste, but through somebody else's eyes. It's weird. It was weird, but do you understand where I'm coming from when I say that? It's incredibly interesting. And I like the way, and I also know the fact that she wrote that song Marjorie about her grandmother, just like you wrote the song. And I forgive me, I don't remember the name of it right offhand, but I know you wrote about your grandfather. Your grandfather. Remember, you wrote a song about your grandparents.
My great grandmother and my great grandfather, one I'm named after.
Yes. So Celeste, if you don't know, is it Wilson? I can't remember.
It's Marie.
Marie. Ah, it's always the middle name that gets me.
It's always the middle name. I gotta use three names.
Only because I've heard you play that song twice, so that you'll have to humble me a little bit. I apologize, but I knew you had written a song about your grandparents, your great grandparents, and she wrote a song about her grandmother. And again, it's just those correlations, how that comes. Like, do you see how crazy it is? How
it is kind of. I didn't really think about that.
Yeah, you're on that same trajectory. I mean, good Lord, she's got blonde hair, you got blonde hair. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, I don't know. I'm going to call you Taylor from now on. Taylor, no, I'm gonna call her Celeste. But let me ask you this. It takes 6 months of training, 6 months out before a concert tour. Are you ready to do that when you get to that level? Are you ready to start doing training? Are you good for that?
Oh yeah, I'm good for that. Because like I did musical theater growing up. In musical theater, when I was looking at it, musicals are put on the same way.
Yeah.
You have a long time.
If you need a trainer, if you're looking for a trainer, I could be your trainer. I have trained many of. Well, yeah, because I did a lot of training when I was in my military days. I was doing
really amateur. Good point.
Yeah, I did a little bit of amateur bodybuilding. I'm 54 now. I did this back in my 30s, so it's a little bit, but I still remember all of the stuff hey, ask Melanie, and I'm a tough one though, Celeste. I don't play around. So when I get you in the gym, hey, we don't play around. You got to work because Taylor Swift worked, and you're going to have to work just as hard. Because you're gonna be having those tours at some point, so you're gonna have to work.
You'll be like, "Who's that with those muscles?"
I'm saying, because girl, hey, we're gonna get you right. We're gonna get you right, ready to go. But I think they're gonna need that because one of the things, and again, so that leads me in my next, and we're almost gonna wrap this up. But that leads me in my next point was, I thought it was so damn cool to watch how she got it. Like she came up out of the lift, right, and then she performs, and then she goes back down in the lift. And then she takes this little roller coaster thing. Yeah, and that is the coolest damn thing I have ever seen. And a lot of people don't understand this. Do you know she went through 100 different wardrobe changes, I believe, throughout the whole tour. I mean, she went through several in a night. I mean, and those gowns were amazing, by the way. I mean, everything she wore. By the way, the Reputation, the one-legged when it was red and black.
Oh yeah, that's so cool.
And then everybody was like, "Oh my god, what's she gonna do next? Is she gonna come up?" And then she comes up with the gold sequence one, Reputation one, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, she's got the gold one out." And everybody loses their mind over it, right? And I was like, "Man, that's pretty cool." All right. I get you. It is
pretty cool.
But one of the things that really stuck out to me about her perseverance, her ability to overcome, is she got sick on tour, and she was having a hard time. Even talking was hard for her.
Yeah.
And then one of the things I thought was really cool, and it goes back to her storytelling, which really kind of goes back to Mandy Moore. For those of you who don't know, Mandy Moore is the one that did all the choreography and all that kind of stuff for her. Mandy Moore and Amanda Balin. Amanda Balin, by the way, if you don't know who Amanda Balin is, go watch her. She's a hell of a good dancer. And she was actually at the end of her career. She was only going to teach. She wasn't going to do anything. And then Taylor calls her up and says, "Hey, Amanda, let's go one more round. One more round. This will be your send-off. This will be your send-off. And she does it. Now, if you don't know this, she had 2 labrum tears in her shoulder, and her hip flexors were worn out. Now, I don't know if you know this, but you need hip flexors to be a dancer, and you damn sure need labrums in your shoulder to do all your hand movements. So that's a big, big deal for a dancer. And the fact that she came out, she did that last tour, and I know that had to have been taxing on her body, but she came out and she did it, and she did it so well. Would you agree?
I would 100% agree.
It was amazing. It was amazing. And those are just some of the things that really, really stood out to me. And then the other thing that stood out to me, and I remember you telling me about this when I talked to you about Taylor, and you said, yeah, she's not really a good dancer. And Taylor did tell us that. She said, look, I don't do 8 counts. If you're going to talk to me at 8 counts, you might as well just pack it up because I don't know how to do. So what Mandy did was Mandy said, all right, we're gonna, or it may have even been Taylor that did. I can't remember how that worked, but basically they took the syllables and the words and attached those syllables to movements.
I know, that was so cool. I was like, because it's
wow.
Like, have you watched the Eras Tour movie on Disney Plus?
No. I've
only watched
the docu-series.
You should find a night and watch it with Melanie, and I promise you that's gonna make you the rest of a Swiftie. Like, you're already a Swiftie, but you're gonna watch that, and it's gonna be like, you're gonna like that tour, her songs, the way it's choreographed. After seeing it behind the scenes, it just changes the tour.
And it probably will. I'm glad you said that, because that was one other part of it I wanted to hit on. I like how they came out with these big, huge fans, but they come out like this, and then they raise up like that, and then that's how she came out of the in the lift. It was she came up in between the fans, and then the fans left, and then that's who you had. But one of the things I thought was really cool, I just told you she invited Ed Sheeran. The other one I thought was really cool was when she invited Gracie Adams on the stage, and they sang they sang a duet. I can't remember the name of the song.
Gracie Abrams, when she sang.
Gracie Abrams.
They sang their duet song that got nominated for Grammy. Us.
Yes, Us. And I liked how she called. She called Gracie on the telephone and said, "Hey, there's been some changes to the choreography, blah blah, or the words. I think it might have been the words on the song." But she called her. And basically, what I'm saying is, she calls Gracie and says, "Hey, here's some last minute changes. I need you to implement these changes." And Grace is like, "Oh my gosh, she just wants me to implement changes on a big ass freaking tour." And then she's okay. So she goes on the piano and she starts making all the changes, and it worked. It really, really worked. And I thought that was amazing. And I liked how she brought somebody up, or was bringing somebody up that was just kind of coming up in their career, and she brought them out there. I thought that was just phenomenal. And then she brought the other girl,
Sabrina Carpenter.
Yes. Oh my! When they did that song "Florida," I liked how Sabrina.
Welch.
It was
Florence and the Machine.
Yes.
Florence and the Machine. Yes.
Florence. I think her name was Florence Welch. I think, but it goes by Florence and the Machine. But Florence comes out and she's got this dress on, and she didn't even have shoes. Like, she's a total hippie. Bro, she was a total hit. I was like, oh my God, I've gone back in the 60s. Like, I thought I was almost at Woodstock when she came out. But that song Florida that they did together was, it was off the charts. It was so cool.
Yeah.
You know?
It is. That's a cool song.
I think that's all the notes I had. I had about 4 pages of notes. Yep.
It was a lot.
Oh, the Oscar de la Renta dress. That was $150,000 that she wore. Like, oh my God, that was crazy. I didn't realize how much that stuff cost. When I'm looking at these dresses that she's wearing, and it's like, thousands and thousands, and in this case, it was like hundreds of thousands. I mean, that's crazy. But what I learned from it, what I took away from this, I took away a couple of things. I took away that Taylor Swift is an amazing singer. She really works her ass off. Great storyteller, hell of a production, has all the right people around her, doesn't mind giving it the spotlight, extremely generous and extremely loving and caring about not only the people that she works with, but also the fans that she's there to entertain for. And she really works her ass off. And I didn't realize how much work she did, but I got to imagine doing all those wardrobe changes, number one, is crazy. And then the one thing I did like was that when she did the raising blocks, and then she's like, well, I don't want to be down here because if I'm down here, they really can't see me. So she said,
Florence.
Thank you, man. Florence and the machine, she gets on the stage with her because she wanted them to be seen. I just thought that was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. I mean, it was so awesome.
Was.
Anyway,
I hope you super cool.
So I hope you've liked hearing about A Star Is Born and Taylor Swift, End of an Era. If you've not seen either one of those docuseries or the movie,
go watch them.
You got to go watch. You got to go watch.
Go watch them.
And then put in the comments on this show that you became a Swiftie, or even DM me, or you can even DM Celeste at her Facebook page and let her know that you became a Swiftie. I think we'd all like to know who became a Swiftie.
We would like to know.
I would like to know. I'm just saying, I'm a curious person. I damn sure want to know. If you've liked this broadcast, you like our commentary, appreciate you. And please hit us up in the comments. And we certainly also give us a subscribe on our YouTube channels. And again, Celeste Marie Wilson music.com. You can find all of the information on her music, as well as where she'll be performing. And there's also some merchandise that you can purchase for yourself. It's your boy Jay McLovin, Celeste Marie Wilson, and we'll catch you next Wednesday on another episode of the Whiskey Hour. And I'm curious to see who she's going to pick, and I'm curious to see who I'm going to pick. And I think Celeste might be surprised.